All right, Medtrade is coming up so quick. We're excited to be back in Dallas this February, and the conference is really shaped up to be very solid. Today, I have David Chandler, who is VP of Payer Relations with AAHomecare, and I also have Jason Morin, who is VP of Healthcare at Analytics Solutions, and they've got some great sessions coming up, particularly in the managed care space. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. David, Jason, thanks so much for joining me. Are you guys excited to get out to Medtrade?
Absolutely.
Can't wait.
Yes, I know. It's going to be here before we know it. Of course, the expo floor looks great. And then the sessions, as I said earlier, are really solid, especially in the managed care space. So, Medtrade, we've got this new track on the managed care. And, I was just wondering, as you're both industry leaders in this space, why is this so important? And what are you most excited about this year's event? David?
Well, thanks. Yeah, Medtrade is always an exciting event, and the educational offerings, the networking, the show floor, I think are the best in the business. I'm particularly excited about this new managed care track and the fresh approach for educating on this important topic. Of course, I'm also excited about the networking component. It's always good to catch up with old friends and make new ones in this great industry.
Great. And Jason, how about you?
Yeah, much the same. I look forward to Medtrade all year long. So just being back there, being in the crowd with everybody, I love nothing more than sitting in the back of the room listening to sessions and then connecting with new people based on what I'm hearing and kind of what's the feel of the conference. Beyond that, the consultant cocktail hour, always a favorite of mine. It's the best place so you can get free advice from all the experts in the industry. So you've got to love that. But yeah, I'm excited. Can't wait.
I love it. Hey, that's a good point, that our speakers they're in the sessions too. So you're not just going to your own sessions. There is a lot to learn there. Well, David, with AAHomecare working on this managed care track, what would you say is really behind the vision of this initiative, and what can attendees expect from these sessions?
So AAHomecare's Payer Relations Council wanted to take a fresh approach to this track and expand upon some of the typical speakers that we see in this category. So most of the sessions will be panel discussions consisting of your industry peers who specialize in the given topics. And we really believe that this will exceed attendee expectations and deliver some real world advice and education from experts that you may not have typically heard from.
Excellent. I know one of the sessions, the panel that you're on, is the Payer Relations Power Hour, Key Council Updates. And, could you give us maybe a glimpse in some of the ways that AAHomecare is making a difference and tackling some of these issues and why it's important for DME providers?
Absolutely. So I'm really excited to lead the Payer Relations Power Hour session. It will feature key updates from AAHomecare's Payer Relations team and insights from council leadership. I hope that you can all join us for this engaging discussion. We'll cover topics that affect your business. Our focus will be around initiatives to enhance the Medicare Advantage and Medicaid landscape, valuable payer engagement resources, emerging technologies, and certainly state-level efforts to protect access to home medical equipment. So please don't miss this opportunity to stay informed and connect in this session.
Very good. You mentioned managed care, there's conflict rehab, there's a lot of important topics, but of course the advocacy. So, what ways would you say that the AAHomecare's advocacy is helping with some of these challenges, throughout the year too?
So look, AAHomecare is 100% advocacy driven. This is all we do. So these sessions are designed to provide valuable insights, direction, and also to identify tools and resources that are available to suppliers to help them succeed in an ever-changing HME environment.
Thank you. It is. It's so important. And I know that is why AAHomecare is a partner, and we always encourage providers to get involved and to speak up and be part of those changes and challenges that are happening. So thank you, David. Jason, I know you have some important topics coming up as well, and you're really going to be focused on the technology side of things. So your session coming up is titled Leveraging Technology for Enhanced Payer Relations, and you're going to be covering AI, data management, machine learning. What are you seeing? How are these tools impacting businesses for providers?
Well, first off, let me just say that it's not just me. I'm sharing the stage with some amazing people. Chris Srinivasan from Valera Health, Jenny Kay with Lincare, Michael Dick from Viemed, Kevin Ackerman from Parachute. So I'm just really happy that these super smart people are letting me share the stage with them. But when it comes to technology, for decades, the DME industry was in the dark ages when it came to tech, right? We're always light years behind every other industry when it came to integrating technology into our businesses in a meaningful way. Now we're kind of experiencing this renaissance where we can effectively use these decision-based algorithms or optical character recognition or robotic processes in AI, and we're learning how we can integrate these technologies into our businesses. And for the most part, we've all been focused on operations and back office, but now I think the next frontier is how do we use these to try and drive some of our payer relations efforts. And so whether it's using the data analytics to drive market access, market analysis efforts, or leveraging AI tools to help identify payer networks, or even using AI to help you build a strategy for obtaining new contracts and networks, I think there's a lot of tools that are out there that we need to start to incorporate.
Excellent. And you're so right. The panel, you brought up a good point that you are working alongside some of the leaders in the industry, and everybody is working together to find ways to help the challenges of the providers today, and technology is a piece of that. What would you say are some of the ways that the challenges that the providers are facing today with payer relations? How are you seeing technology help this year with that?
So I think the challenges are pretty consistent. It's keeping up with the ever-changing payer landscape. We've always got new products coming to market. We've got consolidation with these larger payers. We've got the continued expansion with managed care in both the Medicare Advantage and on the state Medicaid levels. So keeping up with all those, trying to figure out how do I get into these networks that are closed? How do I communicate with payers more effectively? Managing contracts and credentialing. There are so many pain points in payer relations that there are so many new technologies that can start to help that. But I also think that one pitfall that sometimes we fall into is that providers see a new technology and they think this is a cure-all for us, right? I can implement this and it's going to solve my problem. But the reality is, here at Analytics, we always talk about people, process, and technology. So the most important thing for people to remember is that no matter how intuitive a technology may be, it's not going to be a cure-all. And the goal is to find that optimal intersection between your people, the tools they're using, and figuring out how exactly that's going to maximize your efforts. But whatever the challenge a company is facing, at this point, I think we're confident that there's a tool out there that can help.
Yes, as things have evolved, there are plenty of tools, and it sounds like you all are going to help kind of weed through those too. Make sure you're picking the right ones. As we've got a lot of first-time attendees, that come out to Medtrade and they check out the conference schedule and they try to figure out, which class is for me. What would you say that you think that an attendee is going to walk away with from your panel, or at least you hope that they walk away with after this one?
I think my hope for this session is that they'll walk away with a greater understanding of what the tools are and be able to go back to their businesses and start to look at what processes are overly reliant on human touch points, or they're just a convoluted process, and start to think, how can I integrate a tech solution into this to make my people more efficient? And the other thing I hope everyone walks away with is some new contacts, because Medtrade for me is all about networking. So anybody who comes to our session will hopefully leave with a whole slew of new contacts that they can reach out to.
That's great. Yes, absolutely. Medtrade is the place. Face-to-face events are still so valuable just for that reason, to make those real solid connections. And I'm hoping too, with the earlier timetable this year, that people are going to get those connections early enough, and that's gonna pay off all year long. So we love to hear that. Well, Jason, David, as we close, just Jason, what would you say? How do you see managed care evolving into the year ahead? As we're kind of looking to the future, if you had a crystal ball, what are you seeing?
Well, I think there's no question managed care is going to continue to grow. It's going to increasingly be a bigger part of our businesses. 75% of Medicaid beneficiaries are already in managed care. Over 50% of Medicare patients are in Medicare Advantage. And CMS has said that they want 100% of their beneficiaries into some form of accountable care by the end of the decade. So these plans are here to stay. What I think we need to do is figure out how we work with them, how we make sure that we're doing the best that we can to effectively communicate and work together to create safeguards to make sure that the business model is viable and we can make sure that we're here to provide access.
Excellent. And David, you've been a part of this, kind of getting these things going. What would you say to somebody who's maybe new to the show? Like I talked about some of our first timers planning their conference sessions, or even our returning. What would you recommend to them, the importance with engaging in these managed care sessions and how that's going to help their business?
Well, as Jason said, managed care is here to stay, and this track is designed from the ground up to educate and empower the attendees to not only survive, but to thrive in today's evolving HME market, because the one constant that we have is changed. It's going to continue to change, and we just need the tools and the knowledge to stay prepared and thrive. So that's what this track and these sessions are all about.
That's great. Well, hey, on that note, that is certainly what we want to see. So I know that you all have plenty of work to get back to. And we were talking before the show about polishing up those presentations. So I'm going to let you get back to it. Thank you so much for joining me. And thank you so much to those who watched. Remember, registration for Medtrade is still open, so you can join us in February in Dallas. Thanks so much. We'll see you out there.